Ladies and gentlemen, it's Regan here, also known as Wannabe Cowboy, in collaboration with Live in the Living Room. And it is my pleasure to introduce the wonderful Brandon Davis. Brandon, how are you today?
Doing great, brother. Appreciate you having me on.
No worries at all. I mean, we're happy to have you. Funny fact, you're actually the biggest person on Live in the Living Room which we've ever had. We know you've got a rather large following. Was it 2.1 million on TikTok? On Instagram, it's probably another million. Let's just say social media. It's definitely your thing. I've got a feeling you've got a way of working it somehow. I mean, for me especially, and if you can share a secret or two, social media for music has been massive at the moment. You know, on TikTok and stuff like that, we've seen artists such as Tucker Wetmore and Shabuzi come through. How have you helped develop your work in social media and tie into music to help boost your career and your image?
Man, I'll be honest, my wife was the secret weapon. And I say that because I didn't want to get on social media. I didn't want to get on TikTok or any of that. And she kept saying, look, I really think there's something here. I don't know what's going to happen, but you need to get on TikTok. And we were in the middle of the pandemic and all that lovely stuff. And she pestered me about it for probably 3 months. I was like, look, there's nothing on there but people that are trying to do crazy dances and be funny. I was like, I got dad jokes and two left feet. Nobody wants to see that on TikTok.
Works though, it works. Dad jokes over in the UK. Everyone goes, oh no, but it's hard laughing at them. But you know,
Well, she finally convinced me, man. She kind of blindsided me with a few pop up, hey, just sing this. And she's like, look, I'm videoing you, and whatever I do with it, that's on me. I was like, okay, you go right on ahead. And next thing I know, she's posting things to TikTok. And we had one video that really just took off, and it was of me standing in front of the fridge. And I went from zero people listening and following to within a few weeks, we had a little over 300,000 folks, and it just kind of blew my mind.
yeah, a bit of a development, that's for sure. But that's the thing; it's the funny little videos that draw people in and think, hey, you know, especially with your music in the background, people are going to be like, oh, I enjoy this. Where am I going to be able to do it? But obviously, most people should know you. For obviously, people that don't. I mean, I've prepared for this. I've done a little research. Obviously, I know. Obviously, before the accident, which we won't dive too much into, but you know about your work. You know, you've got a degree, and you know you're working for, was it a fire protection company? You're like a designer.
Yeah.
So, but then
Yep.
obviously,
Doing design and project management.
yeah, and then obviously this accident happened. So again, when obviously I've seen, you know, for people that don't know, you can go over to Brandon Davis's website and read, you know, about that accident and obviously it's changed his life. So I don't want to talk too much about that. But going forward from that, you know, was obviously that we know that for the turning point of where, okay, I want to do this music. Was it very much a case of I've survived this accident, why not give it a shot? Or was it a case of I'm just going to roll with it?
It was a case of life's too short not to. Because I tell my kids to chase their dreams, but if I'm not doing the same, then I mean, what advice am I really giving?
Yeah, no.
So music was always something that's been present in my life for as long as I can remember. My dad did it, my papa did it. I still do. And I never knew what to do, like how to actually chase it. And so I looked at her, I was like, I don't know what it is that we're gonna, what step we're gonna take that's gonna move it forward, but I
Yeah,
really want to try. And here we are.
no, of course. Looks like we're just having some technical issues, so people don't worry, it's fine. He's still on the other end of the phone. But no, it's really nice to hear because obviously hearing different routes of where country music started for people, for yourself, obviously you've got that family band history. You know, you've grown up. Some people just fall into it. Some people get pushed into it. So hearing your roots, you know, it really shows a different side. And you can obviously in your music as well. We can tell the story of, you know, about you chasing your dreams. And we know you're a huge family man. I mean, I've seen your social media, you know, your kids adore you and, you know, you and your wife, you have such a special relationship. So it's nice to know that, you know, she's as supportive of you as you are as her. It's, you know, seeing that side, you don't really get to see it because, you know, stars, they don't share relationships, they keep it private. But for people, it's like, wow, I can really connect with this man. One song that really resonated with me and obviously my family was I think it's Step by Step, talking about parents stepping up. You know, like
Yep.
I've got a step parent in mind, and I showed that to them, and they were like, "Wow, okay, this, yeah, it really makes sense." So it shows you music is, you know, it's breached. You're not just here; you're over in the UK as well. But speaking of the UK, there's a certain situation coming up for yourself, which I really want to expand on and find out more about your feelings. So Kent Country Fair, your first UK show. How does it feel that you're going to be coming across the pond to the UK country music scene?
Man, it's really surreal. I've been waiting a long time to cross the pond, just in general, like just to even visit to see what it's like. And for the first time, I'm getting to come. I get to bring my guitar and sing and do what I love. That just makes it 10 times better. So I've got a lot that I want to see. I've got a lot of just things that have kind of been on my bucket list since I was a kid. And, I'm going to have my moment when I get over there, but I can't wait to just break into a whole new fan base and play my songs for people that I haven't had a chance to do before.
I think you might be surprised because you might have your UK fan base and there'll be people in the crowd potentially singing along with you. And I can imagine what your feeling is going to be when you see people singing your own lyrics back, being like, "Wow, I didn't know my presence over here." But we country music in the UK is soaring right now. We've got more UK artists coming through, bigger artists getting onto the main stages and stuff. For yourself, obviously being on the USA side, country music, I imagine it was very hard to break into because you've got especially where you live in Tennessee, you've got loads of artists, one aspiring to do what you do. Over here, we don't have that many. But then we go back to COVID, as you were saying, with social media and stuff like that. What advice then do you reckon that you can give to UK country artists who are, starting out or are feeling maybe it's not for me, I've tried chasing it, it's not working. From your point of you've gone from your lowest of low to a highest of high, what could you say?
I think the biggest thing is we all have something about us that's unique, and there's no one person that's like the other. And take what's unique about you and let that be what shines. Follow your heart in it. Make sure that people are able to see that, like, I see this person as an artist because they are the only person that is like this. That's why I love them. That's why I'm falling in love with their music because they're putting out something that's special to them. And if you do that, show how much you believe in it, I promise you there is no limit to the access of success you can have.
No, for sure. Like, obviously, you'll meet plenty of people at this festival, who are UK country artists. So I'm sure they'll be chewing your ear off. But I do want to know, you said about a bucket list about the UK. What's on your UK bucket list then? Because I'm hoping to be at the Kent Country Fair, so it'd be lovely, if we could catch up there as well. Um, you know, I'll hook you up. I'll bring you some UK delights. If you let me know what you want to try, I'll try and source some for you. But yeah, what's on the UK bucket list then while you're over here?
I've got to see Big Ben while I'm over there, and I've got to try to make a dad. I've got to see if I can get a dad joke to crack a smile on a Royal Guard. I've got to see if a dad joke will do it. I
Ooh,
doubt it will,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I got to try.
Just you might
Just
have seen
one
the
dad
videos.
joke.
Yeah, if you've seen the videos, just stay out of the box because they don't like it when you go in the box because you will get shouted at, Brandon.
Oh no!
But no, yeah,
Oh no!
literally, everyone says that. I want to go see Big Ben. You'll get there and go, it's just a big clock. But that's just it's such a touristy attraction in the obviously, like, yeah, it just baffles me every time someone says it. Like, being from the UK, I'm just like, it's just a clock. There's nothing special about it. But no, yeah, I'm looking. Obviously, hopefully, you can be at the country fair. It'd be great to see you live. But obviously, back to the music side. Then, any any favourites you would say of your recent releases that have really took off? Because obviously, we know coming out of COVID and with country music now being bigger than ever, like, do you feel that you're trying to get more songs out that relate to the more popular side, like you talk about more kind of upbeat country, or stick to the roots of old fashioned, like your Toby Keiths, your Tim McGraw? How are you trying to keep ahead of the curve of the current boom?
I think for me, it's been sticking to what I grew up on, and it's telling a good story. And a lot of my songs, if you listen to them, they've got morals behind them, and it's something that you can learn from. And even if it is more on the upbeat, kind of get you moving in your seat type of song, like it's still telling a story. Even with we just put out an album, and the title track has jumped right in, very like upbeat, boot scooting 90s country, but it's a story about mine and my family's life, how we're constantly on the go, how nothing's ever slowing down. But at the same time, one of my biggest releases in the past year has been Tough. And Tough was actually released as a track on this album as well. And that's one that was very personal to me because it was about my dad, my papa.
Yeah,
And lessons that I learned from them growing up.
I love the cover art for it. I just thought it's
Thank you.
such a resonating photo of people growing up. It seems people have a more of a relationship with their granddads, some people, than their fathers. And but for you, it sounds like you're a very family man, which is so good to hear, because you give that personal feeling of country music, rather than I can talk about my life rather than what should be it. Do you know what, if you understand my meaning?
Yeah.
So it's really nice to resonate. But I do want to get a little insight. So I know you went on tour with Tim McGraw. I can imagine when you got that phone call, it was like you were being drafted to the Atlanta Braves. I can imagine. Yeah, I know you're a Braves
Dude,
fan.
believe it or not, I'm a Los Angeles Dodgers fan. So fun
Oh,
fact on that one.
oh,
Yeah,
right.
I branch a little outside of my area for that one, but
Well,
it really was. It was like it's one of those moments that my heart was down in my ankles and I couldn't hardly breathe. I'm trying my best to come up with words to respond. I think I said the word absolutely, just making sure he 100% knew that I agreed to go on. I said that probably 7 or 8 times. And looking back at the video, I kind of chuckle because it's hilarious watching the excitement pour over my face because I can only remember being that excited a few other times, and that's when I married my wife and my kids were born. So it's a big kind of turning point for who I was as an artist and all the look ahead that was to come because there was so much to learn on that tour. And it all started with just a quick phone call. And I was in the middle of a write during the phone call. So I had to act like I was completely
yeah, of
normal
course.
after this call was done.
Yeah,
Anybody what was going on. That was probably the hardest part.
yeah, I can imagine. Like that phone call, it must have been absolutely crazy, with one of the all-time greats calling you, being like, "Hey, come on tour with me." Like you can't say no, no matter what's going on. If that happened to me, I'd
Yep.
be like, drop everything. I'm leaving. This is my shot. Like, was it a sense for you? You felt like this is I've made it moment.
I mean, that's what it felt like for me because we had just gotten done signing a publishing deal. And as a writer, I felt like I'd kind of gotten a foothold in the industry. But as an artist, when you go from, getting the small bookings that we had up to that point to where they're saying, oh, by the way, now you're going to be playing 35,000 capacity amphitheaters with Tim McGraw.
Yeah,
And that's where it just kind of blew my mind. I'm like, all right, we're here. We're here now.
no, I was going to say when you got that message or the call to come to the UK, was it a case of was your wife around? Was it like, oh my god, the UK want me? Like, how did that feel? Because not obviously you when you and United States artists come over, they're really surprised about the fan base over here we have in the United Kingdom. How much country music is loved, and they're all surprised. So I want to know, what was the feeling when you got that call to finally come across the pond?
It was just that overall sense of excitement to say, look, we've been trying for 5 years since this got going because we've had folks reach out to say, hey, anytime you're over here, we want to be able to see you. And then finally you have that moment of like, boom, it's happening. We actually get to go. I had this moment of like, yes, I get to go over here and see a fan base, and also I get to go over here and just experience what it's like to cross the pond and be over there where I've only seen pictures, videos, and so on. And so it's bringing both at the same time. I get to be the fan of getting to come to the UK and be the fan of that, and also bringing my music to fans that hopefully I've got or fans that I make while I'm there. And that's a whole new world for me. So I'm very excited to bring the country experience to y'all and get to experience what country music is like in a whole nother country.
Just prepare for the different accent. I can
And
guarantee you meet some people and you'll be there like, what did he say?
it's okay. I promise it comes through both ways. I've had it said to me too.
No, of course I can imagine. But I guess we'll call it on the cliche on the live in the living room. I love asking everybody. So we know you can't spell country without try. So Brandon Davis, where are you now trying to get to in country music?
I think one place I'm really trying to get to, and this is a big staple just for where I believe country music was born, is I'm trying to make it to the Grand Ole Opry stage. And I've got a lot more songs I want to write, more stories I want to tell. And I want that to be something that my kids watch grow and expand and watch them see all these people that relate to these stories because my kids are kind of my test audience. They're They're the ones that I want to make sure I'm being the best role model for, and I want them to see me find my way up to new heights, whether that's a new stage, whether that's a new single. I want them to see me grow in this industry in a way that, like, whatever I decide to do, whether it's music, whether it's sport, or, even just being a dentist, whatever the case is, I want them to see that whatever they're reaching for, it's possible. And so my next step, as long as it's up, as long as it's forward, that's where I want to try to get.
I mean, I think that's just a great way of thinking about life. Like, just never look back. Just have this goal, do as much as you can to reach it. If you don't reach it, don't be disappointed because you've got far enough along the way. But I think that is definitely a staple. I can only agree. The Grand Old Opry. I'm yet to go out to Nashville myself. I'm currently trying to plan a trip. So, it'd be great to get out
Okay.
there myself. Who knows? I get out there, I'll give you a message being like, right, come from Chattanooga and come and see me. But,
I'm up there writing all the time, so just give me a shout.
well, when I'm over there, beer's on me. There you go. I'll give you that offer. Nice cold beer. But no, before we close off this part, then, Brandon, I've got to ask. We have a good old question that we like to ask here on Live in the Living Room, which has been asked by many of my other colleagues, which is Dom from Country Chat with Dom and another gentleman called Mr. Paul Adams. What's one question that you wish we would have asked that wasn't asked today?
Question I wish you would have asked. I think one question that I don't get asked enough is who I would play if I had one song, one chance on one stage for one night only. Who's the artist I'd play with? And I think if I had to pick anybody in the world, it'd probably be Merle Haggard, just
Oh,
because that's a man of stories for days, and to me, he is what country music is about.
that's a very strong choice. Very strong choice. But Brandon, I appreciate you being on this interview today, obviously in collaboration with myself, Wannabe Cowboy, and Live in the Living Room. For the people, again, that might not get to see you at the Kent Country Fair, where can we find you?
I'm at brandondavismusic.com. It's got links to all my socials, and stay tuned because we got more music to come.
Well, perfect. Like I said, Brandon, it's been a privilege having you on, and I hope to see you at Kent Country Fair so we can catch up and you can just tell me everything about the music.
Sounds like a plan. We appreciate it. We look forward to it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later.